Greetings, Benjamin J. the Victrola Guy with another in the series. Well, we're experimenting with the 1878 tinfoil phonograph, of course. I mounted the bell from the speaking tube directly on the stylus holder, and we're going to see what kind of recording this is going to make. So this is very much like the original horn. In fact, here is the original horn. It just isn't very big and it isn't very efficient. The speaking tube makes fairly good recordings, so I figured I would just take the bell off and just slide it onto the adapter I made and see what kind of recording I get, recording directly with the bell rather than using the speaking tube at all. It's going to be interesting to see how this works. Now, I have this set up for copper, so I haven't readjusted it yet, so we may get some noise in it until I get the stylus centered and the depth adjusted. But making a fair groove. I'm in the first groove on the mandrel, so let's see what kind of recording we can get using just the bell from the speaking tube.
Hello, hello, hello! Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. Ha, ha, ha!
Alright, so we'll remove the bell, and we've got fairly good modulation. And I heard a couple spots of noise in it, so the stylus isn't adjusted correctly, but it's close. I just took a guess when I backed it off. Alright, so making a recording on aluminum foil on the 1878 tinfoil phonograph using just the bell from the speaking tube. Okay, so you can see that it's way out of adjustment because it isn't very loud. It's surprising, just this length of tube makes it sound so much different. It's really surprising that a speaking tube would make a better recording than just the bell. But it does, and in just 1 second I'm going to reinstall a piece of foil and make a second recording for a direct comparison. So it's really surprising that these little changes, things you wouldn't think would make any great appreciable amount of difference, makes a very big difference. Okay, so grab another piece of foil and my glue, and this glue stick is almost empty. So I've been doing lots of recordings. Alright, install a fresh piece of foil on the machine. You know, and this is one of the things about doing these experiments, is the fact that it takes you 5 minutes to set up to do a 20-second recording. That's a bit off. Recenter this, I think. There we go. Alright, let's see how that worked. Yeah, probably good enough, but it's still off a bit. Doesn't take very much to make a big difference on this end. That'll work. Alright, strip of glue, pull the foil tight, and roll the edges over. So out of 1 sheet of aluminum foil I can get 5 recordings. And so I cut 5, come in here, do a quick test, go back out, cut some more. Sometimes cut 20 at a time, but you're usually ready for a break after making 5 recordings. Okay, that looks fairly good. I'm going to back the stylus off just a hair. And this time we're going to do a recording with the speaking tube rather than just the bell. Okay, fairly light groove. Speaking tube. Alright, here we go, recording on aluminum foil on the 1878 tinfoil phonograph.
Hello, hello, hello! Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. Ha, ha, ha!
Alright. Rewind the mandrel. Now I had this completely set up for copper. So this is the first aluminum foil recording I've done in a day or so. And so I had to readjust everything. So it's just make a recording, adjust it, make a recording, adjust it. But let's see how this worked with the speaking tube as compared to just the bell. Alright, so much louder. So it's obvious that it's louder because I can really seal this against my mouth rather than just speaking into it. So it makes a tremendous amount of difference as far as the quality of the recording. So obviously a speaking tube is the way to go. The speaking tube makes a better recording probably than any recording horn. And slowly getting the stylus readjusted. It's still got a bit of noise in it. If you adjust this correctly, you can get a good bright recording with almost no surface noise or background noise at all. So let me play this one more time. And every time you play it, the noise becomes more evident. So, this machine is capable of making really decent recordings. It's just a matter of getting it adjusted, keeping it adjusted, and the reason I'm doing these experiments is just to find out what actually works the best. You know, I thought copper was going to be a perfect solution to get a really bright, long-lived recording. So far, that hasn't worked out. If I can find the right copper, yes, I think that would be the thing to use. But it's expensive, first of all. You can't just walk in and buy copper foil anywhere. It has to be ordered. And a roll of it is $157. Aluminum, on the other hand, is 66 feet of it is $3. So it's easy to see that aluminum is probably going to be the thing that I use. So continuing the experiments on aluminum foil, making these little adjustments, and now that I'm getting to know the machine, I'm getting to be able to almost guess as far as adjustments for the stylus going from one foil to the next. So I've learned a lot, but still an absolute novice at making tinfoil recordings. It's going to be interesting to see where this actually ends up. A month, 2 months, 6 months from now, what kind of tinfoil recordings will I be making compared to these? No idea. I don't know the best the machine can do. I've made some really great recordings on this machine. But the loudest, brightest recordings I've made are sitting here for sometimes 2 hours, making these little tiny adjustments. And you can't keep the machine tuned to make a recording that is that good all the time. You just can't. You get up the next morning and your adjustments are gone. So what I've been trying to do is just find a happy medium, a good, loud, understandable, clear recording that I can just throw a piece of foil on the machine. If it's out of adjustment, make a small adjustment on the depth of the cut, because the depth changes the sintering. And that's one drawback to the entire machine, is if this just folded backwards, it would be a whole different ballgame. But because it pivots on one end, as it cuts deeper, it moves the sintering. If it cuts shallower, it moves the sintering. So it's a balancing act. But a fair recording, nothing wrong with that. Something you could definitely use as a demonstration. So just wanted to do a quick experiment going back from copper to aluminum, and then having to adjust the machine in the meantime. So, as always, if you have any questions on recording on the tinfoil phonograph, the phonograph itself, anything I've covered in the tinfoil series, feel free to drop me an email, TheVictrolaGuy@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.